South Carolina Senator Tim Scott says this is a huge conflict of interest. Senator Scott goes on the record. Good evening, Senator. Clearly a conflict of interest. Did she know better? And if she did, why did she do it?
You got to think that President Bill Clinton, former Attorney General for Arkansas, speaking to an Attorney General, both understand that that situation is at the very least unethical. What it reminds the good people of South Carolina is it reminds them of these smoke-filled back rooms where deals are cut. I'm not sure what happened on that plane, but I know that those two, Attorney General and former Attorney General, both understand the consequences. I cannot imagine an everyday person having a spouse under investigation, sitting down with the investigators. That just would never happen to the common folks here in South Carolina. But for the privileged, for the elite, they must have a very different standard than we're used to here
Senator,
at home.
I'll tell you, the sad part of all this is the fact that the Code of Conduct, Ethical Conduct, Rule 14, as it relates to these prosecutors, makes it very clear that at the very least you avoid the appearance of impropriety. I was a sitting
Absolutely.
DA, and the bottom line is if someone's spouse who was under investigation approached me, either my bodyguards, my staff, my security would have said, don't even come in, or I would have said, turn right around and walk off this plane. He's also a potential target and a potential witness. So why didn't she do that? She's smart enough to know that. Are the rules different for the Clintons?
It appears, Judge Pirro, that the rules are very different for the Clintons, and this is exactly why so many people are turning towards the Republican Party and Donald Trump, because they are outraged by this consistent philosophy that is very different for the privileged class, where the Clintons are the elite of the elite, and the rest of us who obey laws consistent with our country's in the best interest of our country. This is an issue of trust, not just the outcome. Attorney General Lynch spoke to the outcome, that she would take whatever the FBI gives her. We're thinking about the process that brings us to the outcome. That's where the outrage is. We have to understand that we work in a country where we can trust the outcome of the judicial process.
Well, but do you understand?
Is a woman who's blind.
Yeah, Lady Justice is blind. But do you really know what she said in the end? I got to tell you, it was a lot of, I'm not real clear. She says she's going to take the information from the FBI, from the director, from career prosecutors, but she's not going to recuse herself. Should she have taken herself out?
Listen, I've been hearing for a long time, and I agree with folks like Senator John Cornyn, who's been calling for a special prosecutor. We absolutely need a special prosecutor, and this only emphasizes the fact that for the last several months, those of us calling for, led by John Cornyn, we now crystallize why it's important to have a special prosecutor.
No question.
Without
Senator
question.
Tim Scott, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Good to be with you, Judge.
All right. And Attorney